The whole system is a sham. And I'm talking about the whole system, from educational to mainstream media to political to the justice system to healthcare system. Everything is rotten to the core. The whole foundation is collapsing. We need reforms. We need reforms and we need accountability.
This is Angelica Toy for Herbal News in Calgary, and today I'm being joined by Pastor Artur Pawlowski, where he's going to give you insight on his next steps in his fight for prosperity and liberties in Alberta. You can see Artur's run-ins with the law in the name of religious freedom and his legal wins made possible by our tax-deductible donations at saveartur.com. In spite of all the challenges these last few years, Art has more fight in him. Artur has found motivation to call and move for change in the province of Alberta. He has joined me to bring you more details to his plan of action.
Well, thank you so much for covering this. I think so far you're the first and the only media outlet that is actually willing to cover what potentially can happen to our beloved Alberta. So I've decided to run for the leadership of the Independence Party of Alberta in this leadership race that is happening on September the 10th. So you still have a couple more days to buy your membership if you want to vote for a man like me.
So why have you chosen to run under the independence leadership instead, such as a party as the Wild Rose or the UCP?
Well, I have been in politics all my life. I have been observing what is happening to our country, what is happening to our Alberta. And I came to one conclusion: we need something brand new, grassroots, a party for the people, elected by the people, and grassroots movement of a kind of type of people that have been in the trenches. So this party, Independence Party of Alberta, has been coming to the rallies. They put their money where their mouth is, if you will. They stood for our rights. This upcoming election in our province is about three major things: mandate freedom, tax freedom, and gun freedom. Those are the three main things that I believe we have to push in our Alberta. Look what is happening. The federal policies are destroying us, killing our farmers, destroying our way of life. And telling you the truth, I've lost hope completely. I've lost hope if it comes to the other parties, the professional politicians. They tell you what you want to hear, and then the moment they're elected, they betray you. They're snakes, they're turncoats. They are like vipers who will bite you. Like my brother David says, I don't know who to vote for. They're all snakes. Just some of them are a little bit less poisonous. So I came to the same conclusion, and I think there are many, many people in our beloved Alberta that came to the same conclusion. When I talk to people, they say, well, there's no one I can vote for. There is absolutely no one. They're all the same. They are part of the old boys club. And we know what happens to when you keep electing this revolving door. Now I don't see a difference. NDP, Liberal, Conservatives, they're all the same. They will tell you one thing and they will do the opposite. And the past 2.5 years just showed us clearly that those people are not capable of keeping their promises. We're going to focus on those three things for now: mandate freedom, tax freedom, against, of course, the tax grab, and the gun freedom and independence. The first thing that we're going to do as a party, we're going to do a referendum. A referendum, why? Because all my life, of course, growing up behind the Iron Curtain in a country that we had no voice, it was 50,000 communists that were ruling over 36 million Poles, we never had our voice heard. We never had a voice. So one of the first things I would do is I'll bring a referendum to Albertans on the key issues that are actually touching all of us, our children, the future. A referendum is very important because it gives voice back to the people that elect politicians. I always hated the idea that there's just few that are deciding for all of us. We should have a referendum once a year, twice a year on the key topics. And I think that's direct democracy. And we desperately need direct democracy. We need to give voice back to the people.
Having experienced injustice on a number of occasions, are you planning on making any changes to the court system?
Oh, 100%. Our justice system is just a system. Without justice, there is very little justice, especially for the little man, for the underdog, for someone that doesn't have money or political power. It pretty much the elites, the wannabe tyrants, the pharaohs, they can do whatever they want and they can escape justice, so-called. A perfect example is what the UCP party did in a Sky Palace, hypocrisy. We were arrested for having church. We were arrested in the middle of the highway for saving lives. They partied with the whiskey, with their buddies, breaking the same rules and regulations, and it's like one law for me and totally different law for thee. We are the pharaohs, you are the slaves. This needs to change. You know, I've heard Premier, the man that calls himself a premier, Jason Kenney, and I remember he said in one of the interviews, no one is above the law.
You know, nobody is above the law. No politician, no person that calls himself a pastor is above the law. The rule of law applies equally to everybody in our system of the rule of law.
And I just wanted to scream at the TV, you're right, you should not be above the law. You've arrested me for saving lives, and yet you committed a real crime, according to your own mandates, drinking whiskey with your ministers, and you got away with the murder. And you are daring to tell us that no one is above the law? The whole system is a sham. And I'm talking about the whole system, from educational to mainstream media, to political, to the justice system, to healthcare system. Everything is rotten to the core. The whole foundation is collapsing. We need reforms. We need reforms and we need accountability. Right now, there is absolutely zero accountability. The judges can rule as they please. I mean, today I like you, tomorrow I don't like you. There is no following law. There is no following precedents anymore. Criminal Code of Canada out the window. Charter of Rights and Freedoms out the window. Constitution out the window. Our autonomy out the window is what the pharaohs say. This needs to change. We need accountability again in our system, in our political system. We need recall. We have to have the power to tell our politicians, no, you promised this and this and this, and you're not following on your own promises out. If you don't want to do what you promised, obviously you are a wrong person. You're not fit to do this job. Judges should be elected, not appointed. We need constitutional sheriffs. We need someone that would watch them. They have immunity right now. They can do whatever they want. They can literally get away with the murder, and they're telling us they're serving us. This is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life. Even during communism, when I was growing up, was not that bad, because the communists didn't pretend, oh yeah, we are the bad guys, you're slaves. Everybody knew it. Here, they're killing you softly with the white gloves. This needs to change. Accountability is a must.
Are there any other areas such as law enforcement that you're planning to change with the RCMP or police force?
RCMP has to go. I have not seen more corrupted organization. There are maybe Calgary police as well. We need our own provincial police, and we need constitutional sheriffs that will have some teeth so they can go out there and check on those people that think they're above the law. No one in democracy should be above the law. The past 2.5 years showed us again that there's one law for me, one law for thee. This has to change. There are politicians right now. Right now they're running for the leadership of the UCP party that were part of the regime. They're the snakes, they're the scorpions, they are the vipers that were killing us, and yet they want to be your leader. So I've lost hope in the establishment right now. This is organized crime. NDP, Liberal, UCP, they're organized crime. What we need is a fresh start, brand new, from the grassroots. People like you and me. I hate politics. I'm not a politician, and I don't want to be a politician. I just want to serve people. My track record is 23 years. I feed everyone. I feed homosexuals, I feed Muslims, I feed Buddhists, I feed prostitutes, I feed the poor, the rich, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It doesn't matter. When you stand in my lineup, for necessities of life, I'll feed you without asking questions. You don't have to be there, but if you need that services, I'll take care of you. So the way I was taking care of the poor for 23 years, I'm going to take care of Albertans for the next few years. And if they want me, I mean, I'm not going to cry if people will say no to me. You see, it's not like I'm looking for a job. Being a pastor is not a job, it's passion, it's a lifestyle, it's everything. Being a politician should be the same thing. It should be a passion to serve people. It should be a passion to fight for their rights. It should be a passion to take care of everyone, not just the elites. Right now, the politicians, the only thing they care is about themselves. They are protecting themselves. And unfortunately, the fake news, the mainstream propaganda machinery is helping them to enslave us. And that's the problem.
How do you plan on keeping the public voice involved in decision making?
Well, first of all, why can't we have meetings, regular meetings with the politicians like once a month or every 2 weeks? Why right now to see a politician is such a huge ordeal that it will probably never happen for an average Albertan? I think we have to start having meetings with the people on a regular basis. How about having a coffee with your people every week so they can come and ask questions, uncomfortable questions? I think we have to go back to the roots. What is a who is a politician? Why do we even want to be politicians, right? Why do we run? Is to serve people, right? To serve people, because we have not seen this for a very long time. To serve people. If you want to serve people, you got to start listening to the people. How can you listen to them if you don't want to meet them? Like, try it. Try to see Jason Kenney. It's impossible. There is a red tape after red tape. There is one blockage, another roadblock. I mean, it's impossible task. It's so guarded because they are the elites. They're the pharaohs. And to approach a pharaoh, you have to bow. And you have to keep bowing for a very long time when you will have your audience. I think what we have to do in the future, we have to go back to the people and sit with them, talk with them, listen to what they say. You know, again, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes you will hear stuff that you don't want to hear. They're tough questions, they're tough things that people are dealing with. But they, you know, most of the time they just want to be listened. My experiences for the past few years is just that people want to come and they want someone to show that you care. And how you show that you care? By listening to them. I just had a phone call from a fella that called me and says, I just want to talk to someone. Can you just listen to me for a few minutes? I think that's what people want. They want their politicians to sit down and listen. Here is what I'm going through. Please, can you help here? Maybe we can't help everyone, but we can try and start with one. And that's what I'm going to do. I'll try with one, and if I can help one, I'll go for another one and see what happens. Well, if you would like to vote for a man like me, well, you got only a few days. The leadership cutoff is August the 19th, so you need to have your membership. It's $20 for 3 years. If you have that membership, then on September the 10th, you can vote for either Catherine, which is a beautiful, awesome lady, or you can vote for me. That's totally up to you. So I hope you're going to do what conscience, what your heart is telling you to do, and see you next time. Be blessed.
For more on Artur and any of his future independent leadership coverage, head to saveartur.com.